Welcome everyone to another fun live stream. Here actually I didn't really, well, initially I wanted to make a go live, but then it was like everything's so broken, so yeah, whatever, I go to bed. But no, I found something else so hilariously funny that I thought, okay, well, fine, let's do it. So welcome everyone. In case we're live, are we? Maybe even also, yeah, DOCSIS cable sucks today. Anyway, welcome everyone. So you have seen, to summarize the Sparc here Ultra 5 findings, you have seen this stuff was not just compiling. Actually, no, it was compiling, but it was segmentation faulting, and we figured already part of the problem the other day. That was here that amazing Red Hat people obviously just believed and deleted something like configure checking for got data support, and that broke that for us. So yeah, thanks mates, amazing stuff, never change a running system. And but anyway, open source mantra appears to be whatever you can change break, because that pays salary and consulting or something of that sort, because if it just freaking works then nobody pays for it anyway. So yeah, that was part of the problem. Then also because we like similar to x32, we default, well, we know similar to Debian for performance default to 32-bit, and there was some configure test silently failing in the background because our linker, you've seen this in the other live stream, where we were looking at this assembler and configure stuff, and so the assembler was still defaulting to 64-bit, so the linker would complain, yeah, that doesn't match the binary format there. Anyway, so tiny little imperfection, some at Intel would call it performance marginality. Anyway, so that was fixed, but that still produced other seg faults, and I think I probably mentioned in this live stream previous video for the recurring viewers, because bash was segmentation faulting at the end of like forking running another executable, and turns out, yeah, I was so right, and it was broken since 2016. So much to the Debian people, like, yeah, our unsuccessful Roman distribution, and stuff just works. Yeah, stuff just works if you keep this vendor patches and don't send them upstream since 2016. Amazing job. So that was here 2016, since May 2016, and I think this was even oopsing. Maybe, so the only difference, so the issue is new compiler versions, new GCC versions may generate a what was it? A stack frame, generate a stack frame for some SIG return stub, and that is then not aligning there with where the registers are supposed to be. And apparently this could even, I think, oops, maybe if I understood this potentially, let's see, amazing, makes a difference in sequence stub is implemented in an assembler, and cause trouble, different context. Anyway, but so this was a kernel, there was something hardened in the kernel of not like oopsing. I think this was with rotating the register window of something of that sort, maybe. Shouldn't crash, yeah, so this was crashing, not, also could show you that. So yeah, it was crashing so much to that 2016, but it remained broken in glibc because, yeah, it would be too easy if stuff would just work. And so I imported that. Ironically, it was just fixed this year. Probably it should be this. Move SIG return stub to assembly, because yeah, then freaking it doesn't randomly miscompile in segmentation fault. Anyway, yeah, that is my life documenting this here. I've done this since 1998. People didn't believe me if I always told you, yeah, sitting here night and day, and the day only is 24 hours, and there's not always also additional a night. But anyway, we're getting there. Also, I'm running now with you guys supporting me here on YouTube and Patreon, running out of issues. T2 is working as amazingly as it never was before, also approaching 50,000 revisions and a sort of in spirit 20th anniversary release. So built plenty of architectures, x86, AMD 64, sparc64, HPPA, MIP64, and theoretically we could build ARM, which, yeah, we have a Beagle Bone and Raspberry Pi, but yeah, boring. Or other ARM stuff here, but otherwise Alpha don't have one, and Tanium, previous live streams this stuff should build, but yeah, don't have one. If you want to donate one, then I can test this as well. Other fun findings, so this was only part of the story. I have, how many other fun stuff do I have today? One fun stuff. Yeah, right. So the first stuff is like, it hurts so badly. It's hilarious, and welcome everyone. Do I even have, it hurts so bad. Do I have a last drop of maybe water? Also only life here, nearly here. Also water left of this. Guru meditation round here. Another fun stuff, so only on MIP64, I don't even quite remember how I built this previously. Of all things, serf, a stupid HTTP, because 2020 you need a stupid 500s HTTP implementation. Serf, if you probably never heard about this, mostly used. I also never heard about this until Subversion needed this, so packaged this a couple of years ago because Subversion. And so that didn't build here with LD returned one exit status, whatever. Also amazingly phrased error messages. I fixed this already, so you don't need to worry that we spent here an hour or two fiddling with this nonsense. Long story short, it's this stuff because 2020, obviously, right, hard-coded /lib, because obviously each architecture has /lib, meaning without 64 or 32, and we hacked around already on this for decades, apr-utils, so we're not noobs. We fixed this multiple times here in T2, even as early as our unsuccessful one-man distribution, as early as, not even by me, because not one man. So Aldas fixed this 2006, and GSOR, Georg Sawinski fixes also in 2006 already by adding like custom patching the configure file, adding $libdir libsuf for library suffix variable, and rediffed and stuff, and it worked. Like I don't even remember. So this even like work around it, because why should a configure script like work? It would be too easy, right? And so it worked usually, except for MIP64 for the Octane, obviously there. High performance, the general theme of defaulting to 32-bit, because smaller pointers, better memory and cache utilization, you know the drill already. And so I fixed this already. So this diff is reversed because I committed this already, but basically you also see, let's see what you have here, APU config. So actually we patched here even the APU config, because it also had here somehow include there, probably whatever that probably was, user includer, don't even quite, and here's also some libdir of whatever. But that apparently also in previous times you have seen in the Subversion history, we had here a patch, lib suffix patch, and last but not least, we even had here some if libdir then export LD flags, because working around quirking. Anyway, I can also show you how this looks like, that you can face palm yourself here, or take your favorite IPv6 cable for that measure, previous video. So how this looks, what I'm complaining here about is that people can't, and in 2020 people still can't do make configure files. And the issue with that is, if you take a look here in maybe the error log, you will see here it will use a user lib, obviously, which is for cross-compiling anyway not ideal. Our amazing T2 sandboxing stuff is already wrapping and automatically transforming that, because certainly not spending my 20 years of 2 decades of manually patching all this cluster F. And so our T2 stuff is already magically transforming this to sandbox sysroot of user source T2 trunk, whatever that might be, MIP64, whatever build ID. So far so good, but obviously lib is not correct, obviously, for neither lib64 nor lib32. And this is why user librtso is adding symbols of file in wrong format. Amazing stuff. How does it happen? So this happens because this configure file is pure and utter garbage. But what would you expect from a configure file? Where is even the freaking why is here not a Why do I not see? What the heck? All right, this is serf. Also, so I look into the wrong package because so serf is failing because of lib of apr-util. That is why I didn't see it there instantly. We also need to apr. This is Apache. So the actual bug and imperfection is in Apache runtime utils because obviously C recurring theme here is amazing that in 2020 you need a Apache portable C runtime because otherwise you certainly can't endure writing C. So the issue here is in apr-util, also took me already there. You see how much does this time take? This easily takes you 30 minutes there, 30 minutes there. And at the end of the day, you spend the whole day and night analyzing. And because I actually took quite a while to figure out where the freaking heck in serf, because it's using scons, because you can never have too many build systems. Certainly 100 build systems ain't enough for anybody. So took a while to find out where this freaking /user/lib actually came from with strays and reading logs and comparing back and forth and whatever. I spared you that boredom. But if you take a look here in apr-utils, you will see that it's adding here user lib here all over hard-coded because that's how you're doing in 1998 and in 2020 apparently. And it's doing this for all the freaking libraries. So for all the freaking stuff it's testing here, it's like, yo, you obviously have this in user lib, right? Although we built it here with libdir equals user lib 32 because lib 64 and 32. But this stuff is like, yeah, YOLO, whatever. You obviously didn't mean it, right? It's like, yeah, you get user lib because no. Anyway, even with this, I wasted 30 minutes or even 45 of my life. And anyway, but hey, don't worry that we will run here too much because hey, now already all the architecture is built and now we will automate it and each Sunday we will build ISOs and everything will be amazing. Now that we fixed everything. But so even that I messed here around a freaking 30 minutes with this bloody freaking configure. The problem is it wasn't a very elegant. Why do I not find this user lib can't be so why is it? Oh, come on. apr-util configure or is can't make this stuff up. User lib why is it not user local lib? Why did it not find user lib? What user? Am I too stupid now? Can't make this stuff up. Come on. But anyway, all basically burger. So all this, not really sure why it doesn't find this now. Or did we patch this? What have I? Did we patch that or? No, I think we didn't patch that. Wait a second. Conf dir patch. What patch do we apply right now? Or did we SED this? I hope not. User local lib user. Where did this disappear to? Did we SED something? All right, so we had here another workaround. As you see, we actually SED'd here the make file because it was too broken anyway. But we don't SED the configure. Where did my configure disappear to? Anyway, so this fix, the issue is, so this fix was only half of the fix because it wasn't patching or SEDing, stream editing the APU conf, the installed thing that outputs where the include and libdir and stuff are. So this fix was imperfect. It worked only like half of the time, and this here actually, this lib suffix patch, this was already removed some years ago, so this is dead code, which I also removed. I'm slightly wondering where the heck the... so this is apr add to bugger, not really sure why they named it so strangely. Certainly maybe they felt ashamed themselves for creating this, slightly wondering now where this user lib is here, or you can't mix this stuff up. User lib. It's clearly adding this though. Let's check for expert. Not really sure what I'm looking now wrong. Expert. Checking for expert and lib. Where is the freaking code for that? Adding LD flags user. Why is this user local all over the place? It was not user local previously. Now I'm slightly irritated where this local came from. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm not really sure how this did this regenerate for some reason. Anyway, but here it's user libso in. Anyway, you get the idea. Whatever I'm overlooking now. I was staring too much on this stuff. Anyway, it's fixed already. Whatever. APR. So how did I fix this? First I thought I patched this configure. This was like 50 occurrences, and it's like got out of hand. Then do I SED this similar to we were SEDing here already the make file. Because the issue is that the configure script is outputting this and like substituting this in the make file and the apu-1-config, and I decided everything is to let's maybe revert this so that it's better visible for you, because probably for many patches it's already too hardcore to read, and otherwise it is probably easier to if I already present you patches, then not in reverse order. So what I actually did here is like remove this, because now why conditionalize when you can always do it. So previously we were already setting here LD flags, and I found that the configure script is internally using the apr-util LD flags variable. So we just set this always. So basically we force set this here always, and it's like YOLO, call it a day, because yeah, my life is too short for this kind of waste of configure time. Removing this here, why did it? Because this was a no operational thing here anyway. Plus additionally, it was previously SEDing the make file. That is no longer necessary with the patch there. And with this fine patch, not only does this build now, it will also build serf. But that is not all. I already, as you see, apr-util, this amazing compile performance, not only brought to you by T2, the most amazing, slightly biased, unsuccessful woman distribution, but additionally AMD Ryzen 1350X, certainly amazing build performance, and why we cross-compile everything. So yeah, now this stuff builds, meaning nearly everything builds, but not so fast. I already wanted to go home because I saw, yeah, it's too late and too boring a topic and whatnot. And then I thought, you will not believe what I found then. Of all things, I'm not even sure how I missed this, but my MIPS kernel right now doesn't build, not really sure why. Maybe something I will take a look tomorrow after all the SG Octane patching, but whatever. But I found another thing here. So we also, in our amazing, certainly slightly biased sandbox stuff, we also wrap uname and args among compiler and other stuff for also automatic transformations, because some packages call uname to determine what build architecture it is. And if you're building on x86, like cross-compiling on AMD 64 for MIPS 64, then you want your uname to be MIPS 64 and not be randomly whatever the build cross-compiling build host is. So this is why, since a long time, like 15 years or so, we also wrap uname. And so we have the VF in shell, because certainly why do it in C when you can buffer, when you can have buffer over and underruns, when you can just do it in shell. So I have here a little bit of shell code in scripts build tool, and so that is creating a uname wrapper, which is just outputting our stuff that we want. And because so this is all our uname implementation. So if you wondered how small can you do uname, then this is how small you can do it in shellcode. So what I do here is I substitute the long options, because certainly each package is calling these options with whatever. You can call it uname -a or -- all and so on. So I substitute here also, and you can also have the options multiple times. So to have a poor man's argument parser here, just my cheapest and shortest code solution from 15 years ago. Substitute all the command line options to the short versions, remove multiple occurrences. Here also like expand combined options, also from shorthands to like if, for example, -a for all is mnrsv. And so yeah, substitute all stuff, expand combined options, and then check if the option is in there, and then in this order, because uname has a very specific order. If you supply -m and r and whatnot for machine and release, then the order of these options of, in case you're wondering what we're talking about this kind of stuff. And so the order is very specific, and so certainly this needs to be the right order for m and r and stuff for release in machine. If you would like parse this, you could easily mess up the order, and then certainly some stuff like makefiles would fail. And in 15 years I've not realized, so this must be already for quite a while. Like I was looking like, why is it freaking heck my precious SGI Octane kernel, where I fixed sound and implemented a hardware cursor and all the fun little bits and pieces and fixed power off all the previous live streams. Why is it freaking not building anymore? It's like, what? You should not call, I mean, this is outputted by our wrapper, but what release? And then I look at my code here. It's like, what? Why do I not? So yeah, -- release is unsupported in our poor man's unsuccessful one-man Linux distribution wrapper. And then I wonder, why have I never noticed this? So I extracted core utils, and look here in the uname source code. So yeah, this is why we still write this in C. This is how C looks, right? And then, right. So first of all, I looked into the man page. Obviously, how you doing, right? 2020. You open the man page, and it's like release. It's like it's not here. What's that? And then obviously, then second I extracted the source. So it turns out release. Yeah, release. That's obsolescent. So yeah, the Linux kernel in 2020, not sure since when. Apparently also I have this extracted here, so this is not the very latest Linux kernel, because this is our last state. I probably have to also spend another week or afternoon or winter of rebasing all the stuff to latest and greatest. So this is in, I grabbed this already for you, this is in init kconfig, in case you were wondering, and this is in lib modules here of default configuration options for kernel init stuff of, yeah, that is there. And yeah, 2020 Linux kernel developers not knowing what they're doing, using obsolescent or obsolete, anyway, options that nobody, why is it freaking, probably maybe a typo. Personally, I usually use the short options anyway. But anyway, let's implement an obsolescent option here in our uname wrapper for the Linux kernel, because that is so 2020. So release, also probably release. So this is the same as R. While at it, I'm slightly wondering, maybe should we have a space here for readability? Usually I'm not a fan of changing stuff just to change stuff. But as we touched this already anyway, maybe we do so just for a tiny little bit of readability. And because this is too long for our 80-ish lines of code, we probably move this there and have release here. So that would be release for R. And I'm not sure if this, I've not tried this before turning on the camera, but probably, I guess it probably may still not build, probably still is more wrong, maybe not, we will see. But anyway, that is how you easily spend your day and night and stuff in 2020 or for the last 20 years. So What is not good? Let's hope the sound is not broken. The best term, you know, I want to use what you're calling. Does crapping the other distros get more views? What means crapping? Not sure what you mean with this. Actually, usually everyone is crapping me, so I'm not sure what. If you mean Debian people constantly tell me I'm an unsuccessful woman loser, then not sure if that gets more views, but apparently it gets more. I don't know what's the. Not sure if that is actually violating some Debian, but maybe this this new kind of what is it even, code of conduct maybe only applies to Debian people, so maybe they can constantly call me unsuccessful women distribution losers, and anyway, being nice to each other only applies to the Debian people. But what is crapping when for 4 years, first of all, people constantly touch stuff without proper testing, and then when it's broken, not fix it for 4 years? Not really sure if that is crapping. It certainly wasted in total for sure a year or two, or maybe even more of my life, and it really gets tiresome when at the end of the day, each day you sit here and that's broken, someone touched it, it's broken. I mean, where are we in the state of desktop Linux when stuff, well, we change stuff for the sake of changing, only to break stuff, and yeah, but there, as you see, there are also not so many people fixing this, right? This stuff is broken for 4 years. Okay, you could say Sparc, who is using Sparc anyway in this abandoned Oracle where obviously nobody. So yeah. But anyway, so welcome everyone there. Libdir seems kind of hacky to me, but it's stupid, it works. What you the libdir seems kind of hacky too. What you're saying, what do you mean with it? Matt Turner says libdir is different, libc64 is rare, it's not unexpected that's going to be handled incorrectly. No, this is not a MIPS, you're totally wrong. In most distributions it's libc64, unless who's maybe Debian is using lib, but I think SUSE and Red Hat might use libc64, so this is not MIPS64 specific, it's only, but on the other hand, this is even similar to Debian. So if it's Debian maybe using lib32, I lose overview, all the incompatible random stuff there in other distributions. Don't have any time to follow this nonsense, but so this lib32 is not rare. Debian might use this for 32-bit x86 on AMD64. And otherwise, each other build with AMD64, it's libc64. So this, and also you should never hardcode this. I mean, freaking, there is a --libdir option for probably 20, if not 30 years. It's just people hardcoding the stuff all. And this configure script, seriously, they are like 90% checking stuff you don't need to check. Just since 20 years, we had conf stuff like this APU config, just call it and freaking use it, and not mess around and randomly guess around their random stuff with hard-coded whatever. And also now there's package configs. There's absolutely no reason to have here 90% of this random code that should have been long gone. And this is also why all the stuff, you build something that behaves erratic because there is 90% garbage of 20 years of trial and error. So yeah, and also it is so easy, right? There is libdir. I mean, just put $libdir all over the place. There is no excuse for hard coding any stuff anywhere. What do you mean? Just send? I mean, who do you even talk with? Send up patches upstream like the rest of us do. This was not upstream for. Yeah, I agree. Just send stuff upstream like the rest of us do. But you've seen, if Debian and Gentoo worked on Sparc the last 4 years, then they had this patch. And yeah, this patch is in Gentoo, and they have not sent it upstream for 4 years. So, in case you were wondering. Sparc64 e-build, not sure if that is always a little bit near to find. Also, at kernel sources, I made a previous video, not the most impressed, but this will, more people will hate this Gentoo glibc with Gentoo. I think I just deleted this. I had this here. I think, yeah, I just deleted this. The problem with Gentoo, which I made a previous video about, with also the Gentoo people hating here on me, and I'm getting really tired of this. This is why I'm calling myself already unsuccessful one man. Also 92 is neither unsuccessful nor one man, but hey, if everyone calls me unsuccessful one man, then whatever, then it is so. What a recurring theme, but the Gentoo people hate me for this. In my opinion, this is really not good software development style, because their e-build stuff is not bundling the patches here. I criticized this already in the SG Octane video, which they also have never sent upstream for a decade. And because here you can't even see what they patch, because they accumulate everything in dist files patches, so you would need to grab this from their mirror, and the Sparc patch was inside there. Yeah, so this in my opinion vastly inferior to having the patches here, and there you actually see them, and you can actually version them, because with this stuff, not even the whole thing is, and the whole thing is stupid in my opinion, because not even these files are well, they are versioned in this one instance, but you don't have here like, where is this version, so you don't see the changes of this with the previous file. How to operate this? Probably changes, log of, can be maybe, or is it the whole log? Nah, what is it? Fix not need Python 2. Why does log not load? Or okay, let's click on diff. Let's see what. That's not what I want. 2020 version control stuff, not the most easy to operate. Limited to, what is this? Also not what I want. Why would there anyway? That gets too boring anyway. But yeah, neither cool that this, you can't have your proper history of the stuff, nor do you instantly see the patch files. This patch file stuff isn't version, it's just on some, manually placed on some mirror or something, and you can neither work directly with them nor see the, by the way, does it mean we click on log and, man, is this shit slow? How many drop frames do we have? 0.5. Anyway, this stuff doesn't make it the most convenient to work with parent diff. Stop relying on, yeah, whatever, you get the idea. Let's see what else we have here. Did we fix this error, by the way? Anyway, so what the difference is that our stuff you can version, you have your history of 20 years, and you can actually go back and forth and diff here the stuff that changed, and so on, which you can't do there, and whatever. Anyway, let's see. But yeah, the Debian people certainly could have in 4 years sent the stuff upstream, where it obviously isn't, because all glibc were broken, and this is the latest one of glibc desk. But yeah, let's see, what else do we have there? But yeah, such a naive view, I would say, with libdir. It's like, yeah, such a naive view of libdir that it's hard-coded to lib. It should just be a variable and use what is supplied. Detard has migraine, not good. Yeah, I hope you're getting better. Yeah, Navarro says hard-coded passes if build systems didn't exist. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's so sad. Let's see. Also, yeah, this chat jumped here around. Quite some chats since then. Welcome everyone, and especially given despite multiple attempts never got upstream any of the Octane impact code that he had rebased. What you're talking about? So Matt Turner wants to like this channel. Everyone is stupid. So if you look at this, I mean, you don't need to like this channel. You can also dislike each video. This is fine. But I'm doing this since 20 years, and there is it's not a surprise that everyone is still using Windows and Mac OS when for 20 years we can't get the stuff together, right? We break the C library for any other architecture each time. This configure scripts, let's see, let's unpack this again, a clean copy. This is hilarious, and after 20 years I must say this stuff is not getting better, and people cannot sit only in their cozy little basement and pretend that this stuff is amazing when in 2020 you can't just build something without this configure stuff messing everything up. Let's make another attempt. Not really sure what I did there earlier. Really wondering what happens that did something automatically changes from user local. Apparently all those hard codes were previously user lib, so not really sure if we had some automated fix up running, or what could also be that actually we could check. But anyway, it should also not use add user local lib in there. In the log file of apr, why is here? Do we have some log of automatically fixing this up for whatever, creating? Was this somehow regenerated? But actually, on the other hand, user lib, it is outputting here. This is bizarre. I could swear I've not seen user. Did I? I slightly wonder what we're looking for. That it's logging user lib. I mean, it's obviously adding user lib. Anyway, I spent enough wasted time. Yeah, also, I'm really sorry to be the messenger. Shoot the messenger. That is, well, maybe not shoot me, but dislike each video. That is also fine with me. But this is hilarious. I'm doing this since 20 years. The Debian people tell me I should shut up. This stuff just works. Yeah, this stuff just works for 4 years broken. Works amazingly. Yeah, if the Debian people keep their patches in there. Debian original source table stuff, and the Gentoo people who rediffed the original work of Stanislav, and also have not sent this upstream, so don't blame me that some stuff is not upstream when this is not me, when I send a lot of stuff upstream since 20 years. Multiple attempts upstream any of the Octane or impact graphic codes that I'm not even sure what you're talking about. Given multiple attempts, never got to attempt to upstream. I don't even remember. Did you ever write to me? The name doesn't even ring a bell. Don't really remember ever getting an email or something. Stupid crap people wasting time, which can't totally understand. It's more like what? Michael asks, will T2 run in sparc64 QEMU? To be honest, I'm not sure. I tried. Maybe I sometimes QEMU on this architecture is a little bit glitchy. Sometimes it starts booting. Sometimes it boots but without graphic. So it could be, I think, Sparc 32-bit worked in QEMU, but maybe the frame buffer was good enough with open firmware. Open hackware or whatever that is called. In sparc64 it might have defaulted to Cirrus Logic also. frame buffer, which might not be supported by default. So sparc64 worked well enough. So the funny thing is the sparc64 QEMU worked more stable than my SparcStation2, which has some kernel, well, it is deleted in also, yeah, fun stuff like sparc64 deleted in kernel with other stuff as well, PowerPC prep and whatnot, fun stuff. But so yeah, sparc64 works better in QEMU than on my hardware. I think sparc64 probably without frame buffer. If you use serial console, maybe that is usable. Certainly not the fastest. What else do we have there? But also to this run here, to be honest, upstream people happen to break the stuff. For 20 years, upstream breaks stuff faster than I can fix behind it. And this is also, in my opinion, really hilarious. You could always call it, yeah, testing, more testing, and test suits and whatnot. But truth is also that there is, certainly this is not my obligation here to make test suits. Certainly there are test suits, but they are also not test suits for everything. Certainly in the Linux kernel, the least test suit. Certainly these are also architectures that not so many people are using, like sparc64 and stuff, but then also maybe people should not randomly constantly touch it for no good untested reason. And also the funny thing is that if you're assembler or a GCC doesn't have this got data support here, with this patch we have seen here live on this channel, it would even, glibc would even work, right? So much to, this is not used, no, it would have been used even if in the latest and greatest stable release with this configure patch reverted, it would even work without got data support. So much to also, yeah, just touching it, in major companies like Red Hat and SUSE, I have the impression they intentionally touch stuff to have work to do. And anyway, I have no other idea how this stuff can get broken so fast and so often. Also, a recurring theme additionally. Do I have here cables plugged in? Not sure when I last switched. Here's my VGA cable. Can probably maybe, I also took, but the cables are not that far away. Do I have too much? They also broke, someone broke power off, right? Not only on the Octane, but on the Ultra 5 for 15 years power off work. Now I can spend another night or weekend bisecting. On the P3, they broke somehow kernel fragmentation allocation that even the network, the JLIC network, can't even transmit packets. This is just completely stupid in my opinion. Also, yeah. And there is certainly a reason why the number in the top 10 of our websites are. Also, this was picture. This was probably the wrong button. Top 10 on our websites is Red Hat. So much to Red Hat people breaking our stuff, and they need to Google on our website what is the patch solution for that. Actually, this might be the kernel that is not booting, because init.rd, probably we could theoretically restart that instantly. But yeah, floppy is oopsing, right? Previous video, I thought for the fun of it, I insert a freaking floppy in here, and that oopsed because I think maybe they removed floppy support from the kconfig just because why should they fix this? So that would be Linux 5.5. Yeah, don't blame the messenger, blame the people who constantly, I said this before, if we for 20 years would have made everything more amazing, maybe then we would have the year of desktop Linux, but if we for 20 years each year break something and reinvent the wheel, rewrite init systems and X windowing systems, and delete the drivers we once had and 3D code that we once had, then at the end of the day, yes, not everyone is using this vintage stuff, but at the end of the day, more stuff is broken than it's not but there. Let's see. What else? Welcome Austin. Got excited to see sparc64 title, something boy. Yeah, welcome. We are also a fan of all architectures, especially RISC. And this is still loading. Maybe next, well, as much as you hate the messenger or like and dislike, we have so much stuff to do. I want to try new RISC-V core on the FPGA from Claire that I still didn't. I want to try this already for 6 weeks, or maybe 3 months, and also certainly work on this fun stuff. Work on our microkernel ideas. I actually had another. I should have written that down. Yeah, Octane stuff to finish. Create bootable CD, libc64 ISO. Sets I ideally, but the problem is the more I fix. But the good thing is now I have from all the machines I have here in my collection, most of them are mostly fixed. Well, except power down here, obviously. But otherwise, I would also like to patch the Linux kernel to support set standard compressed firmware loading, just because. Do we have a Ethernet? Oh, we have an Ethernet cable in there. Amazing stuff. Oops. So, and then do we have, I probably need to check what kind of view we have right now. Probably want that view. And so this is the latest and greatest version that I probably copied into new test, or probably I named it VEC because I wanted to delete it soon. And this is the latest version here. Proc this and dev. And then start X should even come up, at least did yesterday. And so yeah, that is T2 trunk head with all the fixes accumulated and applied and stuff. So yeah, that works beautifully. If you want to see another fun project would be to see how well Quake 3 or so runs here with an old version of Mesa that does 3D, because ATI Rage 3D. So yeah, that is the latest version, and that is, did we change root? Yeah, we changed rooted. So yeah, now also this stuff, as you see, we can run stuff without segmentation faulting, which certainly is amazing. And this is libc SO, the latest version there, which I can also zoom in for you, which may or may not be readable. Maybe I also patch this stuff another day, that we default to a larger font, because usually this small font is a little bit tiny. Also, the latest kernel has already support for high DPI fonts for that reason. So anyway, sparc64, all right, so shutdown, that is also broken, unless if you have a Ultra 5 and it's not broken. Not sure if maybe they only moved the kernel option and now it's whatever. Shutdown H0. Actually, I never looked how that works on the Ultra 5. Whether it's open firmware call or whether it is NVRAM, not NVRAM, RTC real-time clock, like on the Octane and other machines. Need to read this code and check what's going on there. But yeah, if you're a fan of this stuff and don't want to shoot the messenger, then it would be amazing if you share, like, and subscribe, because as you see here, now documenting since some time here live on YouTube. Previously done this alone in my basement, and the Rock Linux, fine Rock Linux folks at Linux Talks and Rock Linux meetings, and previously even fine Rock Linux gatherings at the Chaos Computer Club Congress, which were certainly fun times. But now live on YouTube, and certainly in retrospect I should have done this already a decade longer, and certainly now that we fixed all the basic regressions here, we can advance to the more fun stuff. And I certainly should go home soon. And yeah, but also people telling me here what I'm sending upstream and whatnot. Hey, how many people have Octane running, P3 running, and got the P3 RSX to do some S-rated bit BLTing there, so yeah. Sure, blame me, but otherwise share, like and subscribe, and all the others. I hope you enjoy this fun documentation of showing you how this stuff is in real life. Like, yeah, stuff is broken, and if you touch something, testing, more testing, and certainly also I'm documenting here that the stuff doesn't shut down for whatever reason, so that is going to hold but doesn't hold because whatever. Pretty sure that worked once upon a time. Anyway, so that's the documentation for today, and to be honest, I wasn't even in the mood to first. I wanted to share the sparc64 progress, but then I had the libdir breakage that costed me an hour there for figuring out what's going on with the apr-utils stuff and hard-coded lib, and then I stumbled over this amazing release thing, which I also actually didn't even yet check whether that works now. So that would be Linux Z. And we have here, so release, and apparently that may work now. We have here some, whatever that is, usage elf to ecof. Not really sure what we broke with that. I'm pretty sure maybe we are just missing maybe some package, not really sure what's going on there. Anyway, now this releasing works, which is certainly amazing. So now we also support wrapping uname obsolete option release here. Oh, also I have here actually clutter my FL wrapper that also needs to be. Also, pro tip here that you learn something useful is check your diff before you commit. Some people don't always do that. Where is even? Also caps lock, darn. That is why that didn't match a thing. Because otherwise, if you just blindly commit, then you might commit such debug residual changes. Also, yeah, probably I could revert that. I only logged here because I wasn't sure where this -re whatever was coming from. Should not. This is why I logged here the whole invocation of the uname wrapper like that, but we certainly don't need to commit that. So yeah, a little bit more changes, maybe not the very best style. I could have had here slightly less changes and just added this release at the end, but I changed this for readability because even for me also I forgot the one semicolon. Always good to proofread your changes again and again. So because I thought it's maybe a nice readability touch to have here space for readability, I touched here all the lines anyway, and then thought, yeah, let's group this stuff together because why not? And otherwise, if you would not want to have that many lines of code changed here, also probably the last line is using another tab style. When we are at it, probably that is near. Actually, all those lines are not using tabs. Yeah. This is a little bit controversial. Some people love tabs, some don't. I'm in general. The problem is if you change your tab width, usually of course in good old-fashioned times tabs were 8, but not all people do that. Some people would strictly ident this with spaces, but the T2 code base is for the most part 8 white tabs anyway. This is, yeah, whatever. It allows, for me, it allows slightly faster navigation and slightly smaller files. Not that it would matter too much, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, edit -- release support to, or edit obsolete release support to uname wrapper, because that is so 2020. Usually, even pro tip, you should actually have tested this again. Last minute changes usually break something, but anyway. So yeah, we're approaching 50,000 revisions with our unsuccessful Wellman distribution here. Increasingly more people again. Of course, back in the day with Rock Linux, we had probably easily 30 people, if not more. Certainly in all of Rock Linux, maybe 100 people contributed. at T2 also some 20-30 people, and now with the advent of YouTube here, we are increasing this again, which is certainly amazing. So approaching revision 50,000, 50K in just some 25 revisions. Maybe we can actually schedule something special for that. Let's see if that works out. Like a release ISOs of all architectures. But next I can certainly take the HPPA, which I also already built here. We can actually check if we can create ISOs that fully built already, HPPA. And but the fun or not so fun thing is the last time I tested the HPPA, the Hewlett-Packard Precision Architecture, previous video, just a month or two ago. Probably no, our junior is already 8 weeks now, so it's probably 3 months already, so far as time goes. So the last time I took the Hewlett-Packard HPPA risk, it didn't boot. The kernel was spitting out all kinds of warning module, whatever hiccups there. Let's see if this magically fixed in the meantime with the latest Linux kernel, but otherwise that could be the next thing to fix, because each time we touch something here it got broken. Let's see, what else do we have? Navarro says, oh no, Matt says, welcome to running distribution. Rest of us just, what's the rest of us? Just fix it and move on. Don't spend 30 minutes complaining about it on a live stream. Well, to be honest, the rest of us do not fix as much as I do. There for many years I dedicated a huge portion of my life to this project, which certainly they also see startup, and it's certainly pretty frustrating when you do this for 20 years and very few people value this and only blame you of not sending enough upstream. Also, yeah, for 20 years I didn't speak about this much. It's only now documented this on YouTube, and exactly for those people who tell me you're an incompetent, unsuccessful one-man loser, you basically get nothing done. This is my life. 50,000 revision, many of which I committed. Of course, many are boring updates, but there's also plenty of real fixes in there. Bisecting, driver writing, even so much to upstream. Each distribution ships even with scanner drivers of Sane Vision, which, yeah, 200 drivers open source there. But yeah, what do I know? Also, I fixed this and moved on, but just to have here some real world experience, what kind of stuff is broken, needs to be done, and so on. But yeah, anyway, problems with P3, make a tutorial video of the installation. I actually made a little bit tutorial, but I agree that usually something was broken each time. I thought, no, we have finally done and fixed everything, that everything worked. Then there always was something new, like I touched the frame buffer and broke something, which actually still might be broken. So much to share, like, and subscribe for me to fix all this stuff. Yeah, so probably I should do this soon, but the installation actually is not too difficult. In the meantime, the latest ISO, but yeah, we have a new ISO here. With the latest ISO, what the older ISO didn't create a kboot conf. That was the only showstopper certainly many newcomers would have never found. But that is also a recurring theme of my usual 90 and 10% time rule. You spend 90%, either 90% of the work take 10% of the time, or the last 10% obviously consume 90% of the time. But yeah, there's always something to do. But yeah, Matt Turner writes there, what's the fact that's not true? Also helps if I read this half an hour later, then I don't know what the heck you found. No, it's not true, but whatever. Sun for V. T2000, T3 don't get used since there's load and put out so much heat that I could use it in my office. Yeah, that's a shame a little bit with the cool threads Sun Sparc stuff, but yeah. Matt Turner, yep, Gentoo people hate us, Debian people hate us. Maybe it has to do of having so much stuff automated and stuff just working here because we fixed everything. But anyway, and the Gentoo and Debian people always need to extract their tarballs and retar them and put them on the mirror, and certainly can see where all the time is going. Detard says side CPU is too much power, but it uses too much power, so don't run much. What a beast, yeah. So Ultra Sparc 2 is with 2 GB of memory. Problem with T2, something could make a tutorial video. So this is the same question. No, all this stuff jumped again because YouTube chat. You rebased patches on a modern kernel. Gentoo never accomplished that. You never sent them. What? You rebased the Linux kernel on a modern kernel? What you're talking about? I even specifically, in the meantime, after rebasing them 10 years, the original, to get this straight, the original patches, I kept them rebasing for 10 years. And I never sent them upstream because I never felt it was my thing to upstream Stanislav's work, because I had uttermost respect to his work of reverse engineering all the stuff. I can't even imagine how much time it was. Although I think maybe he wrote his PhD or so, something of that sort about this, I think, or at least something of that sort. And I even specifically gave Gentoo a positive shout out for rebasing this. In the meantime, I unified this with this work of 4.18 or whatever that was. I always mentioned this in the original video, and fixed the stuff up, like powering it off and fixing ALSAR, the ALSAR driver, not to output byte swapped garbage. But yeah, someone from SUSE sent some stuff upstream. Now in the meantime it is, but this is also really hilarious, right? That people fighting here. But the thing is, I have the impression those who scream the loudest that something is not upstream enough or our work here is shit are usually those who do contribute nothing anyway. So YOLO, whatever. Probably now it will be pretty difficult, now that someone from SUSE has sent some base patches in to the Linux kernel for SGI Octane IP30. It will probably be huge work to rebase all the other remaining stuff, because he has rewritten the stuff a little bit cleaner, which certainly is amazing, but this will make most likely rebasing and merging all the rest even the more difficult, probably. Anyway, let's see, but rebasing this Octane patches will take enormous amount of time, and it's not on my highest priority. 4.18 whatever is right now new enough for me. I rather finish the hardware cursor. I still haven't figured out, although I spent already way too much time, I have not yet figured out how to write the color values into the RAM deck. Although I probably spent already 2 days on that, a whole weekend. And it's also super frustrating that companies need to keep such stuff secret. There should be specs, although I understand back in the day SGI only wanted to run args and not that people run other operating systems. Certainly Linux was not too big of a deal, but in general they also see if you don't have specifications like for NVIDIA hardware, then writing code a decade later, yeah, reverse engineering all the stuff. So yeah, instead of rebasing, like wasting my time rebasing stuff, it's super boring work. Maybe also other people could do that. You're welcome, but I rather spend my time on more important stuff like other drivers and a microkernel, because all this driver breakage get a little bit after 20 years. But this is also the thing for like you ranting. It's like, no, I'm not ranting. I'm only bringing you a summary of how real work Linux development is, and it's honestly like often broken, and always regressions to fix, which probably you have encountered with your precious AMD or NVIDIA graphic there playing along at home. And after 20 years, I said this before in my microkernel videos, we should have a much more stable kernel with stable ABIs and not randomly break everything at each kernel release and each config change. People love Gentoo, that is amazing. Home server, something, sure, whatever. Claims glibc being broken is false, as far as I can tell. Forward. Matt Turner says the claim about glibc is broken. It's like, what of in 2016 it was discovered that glibc on sparc64. I didn't say glibc is the same like the Debian people. I didn't say glibc for what? Glibc for sparc64 is broken since 4 years. The patch was just merged on March 5th. Between 2016 and March 5th, glibc was broken. Yes, Gentoo has a patch and Debian has a patch, but it was in 4 years not sent upstream. And for 4 years I was wondering why this garbage was random segmentation faulting all over the place, until this year with all the $3 a day of financing here for doing this work, I finally got to the root of this and figured, hey, people have done this. Gentoo and Debian kept it for themselves, and Admerval Sanella from Linaro has apparently finally merged it upstream. Not that I say something wrong, stack frame, yeah, but this looks like this probably should be that. So yeah, so here you have it, how much more in black, and I can certainly make it larger for you playing along at home. But between here and there it was broken, because random changes of compiler generating different code. But anyway, that's probably it. We know we are not at the things, but yeah, this is also why I now document all the stuff live on YouTube, because otherwise nobody believes me. Previous live stream, live segmentation faults and debugging Spark assembly and trying to figure out what's going on there. And that was vanilla glibc without this patch. So, and yeah, last year's video and the year before that video, and yeah. Anyway, but you're welcome. glibc on Debian and Gentoo has been freaking. Okay, you know what? No, I download. It's hilarious. If I mean, either you are, I don't know, are you a developer or not? I mean, if you're telling here random garbage. Also, yeah, here you see this experience live here. So patches, you need to figure out here's a patch variable that is whatever this files of glibc patches. Then you can Google this or whatever, peel it out of the Gentoo glibc. This is amazing Gentoo source code experience. And when you found it here in some dist files of some mirror somewhere of this libs of whatever, probably 231, 341, whatever. This is, yeah, it could be so easy. It could be like version in your source code, like we do it, but yeah, you could also just hide it somewhere. Funny thing is I downloaded it the other day, now I don't find it. Gentoo glibc patches, darn, come on, where is this freaking file? Patches, dist files of, maybe you also could Google patch, what is it, patch? Patches, maybe this is first, and then Google also finds it. But yeah, this is live here on this channel, how other distributions version not their patches that they keep for themselves, dist files. Come on, patches, where is it? Is it this one? Auxiliary of user portage dist files. Let me, not sure what I have in the downloads, which I can't. Oh darn, I closed it previously. Gentoo glibc 231 But yeah, that is working with Gentoo. Yeah, if you have this dist files locally, Gentoo mirror, maybe we simply Google for. Can we also reattach this tab there? Probably we can. I guess. Okay, whatever. But there you see, you need to document everything on YouTube, otherwise people don't believe you. Dist files. Where is this freaking mirror of? Again, to source mirrors of maybe here, and then we click on something like maybe there, and then this files, and then this are like 4,000 files or something, and they take a while to load because loading 4,000 files in the directory listing in 2020, if they ever load. Or they don't load because there are too many. Let's see if this loads faster. But yeah, that is an amazing working with source experience. Darn, does it load? The other day it loaded faster. Let's take something in DE, Europe, Germany. Let's click on that. Hello, can something also load, or is our internet not completely broken? Ah, this already is cached, so probably I loaded that from there. Connect the stuff up, curl. So I have the feeling we are DOSing here all the servers now with the directory listing of this stuff. Okay, fine. Maybe we can supply this already with the correct URL. That would be glibc. But yeah, amazing, right? Amazing source code storage. Patch version would be glibc patches. Which would that be? That would maybe be that. Was not found. Wonderful. What would that be? Patch dev, patch version 7. Patch dev, dist files. Or maybe this is glibc 2 and then patch 7. Ah, come on. You can also give me directory listing faster than maybe IP44. Glibc. I just deleted it the other day. What a fail. Yeah, I deleted it. Yeah. Here's our directory listing. Now we only need to grab glibc. That will again take, also, yeah, amazing server performance 2020. If you're wondering how long in 2020, how long does the directory listing of whatever 1,000 patch files take? Because, yeah. So glibc patches of, and yeah, you see already sparc patches something, right? Because it just works. There's 3 patches. Here's something. This is not the URL we used. Glibc patches 7. Let's see, what did I use? Glibc something. Oh, there's an R5. Oh, there's an R5. There's too much, maybe. Let's see. Nearly got this. Oops, also not on the terminal. Nearly got this right, and now we will tar this stuff of glibc whatever of X. And this RSS, so it works, it just works freaking in Gentoo, right? With this amazing set of patches. But yeah, only live here on this channel. And one of those amazing patches is, of course, all amazing patches, only the best patches. And one of them is sparc64. And so we have here sparc move sig return stop to assembly, just what I showed you, and use Linux KABI for syscall return and avoid clobbering registers parameters in syscall. But yeah, I rest my case. Liar, pants on fire, obviously here, sig return, just what I showed you. But doing this since 20 years, I know nothing what I'm freaking talking about, but you are my guest of that is not true. let's see. How did you start off with kernel developing, trying to run Linux on everything and fix what was broken? That might not be the best advice for your career though. To maximize your profit, what we obviously are not doing here, I would, well, there are two things. Either you maximize your profit, then I would suggest to look into what you think, what either the market asks you or you think you could innovate and do. That is to maximize your profit. If you want to maximize your fun, then you can just do whatever you like if what you're interested in, and do that. But if you do it like I did, then that is not the most profitable business decision. Michael Richmond, have you tested a package source install with T2? No, I haven't. You mean to use package source into T2? I guess you mean. I've not tested that. But the point is, of course, that we have basically this package source, right? So that would be what we are having here. But you could certainly do this. But for me, the setup, for me, it's not a benefit because I have already this sorted set of stuff, especially for cross-compiling. So you would lose all the cross-compile integration and stuff. But you certainly could if you would want to for some reason. Let's see. But I also really need to go home. Fox will ask, what's a good Sparc system to get started with? Well, so I'm not sure if Sparc is a good system to start with, because at this point it's just so a little bit up and done there, right? This U5 is not, which is obviously, unless we make a crotch cam here, U5. It's at least compact and not too loud PC components. Well, it's a little bit boring as in PC components like IDE and stuff, but otherwise it's not too loud and not too energy consuming. The other Sparc systems like previously the Ultra 30, heavier, larger, louder, consumer energy. But in general, maybe it's better to get, unless you like Sparc for some historic reason, better to do ARM, RISC-V, you know, the stuff that is state of the art and stuff. What else you have? Ultra 5, Ultra 10, cheap, easy to find, reliable, not, yeah, what I said, thanks for that. Chiming in on the same thing. Many, especially the servers, will be loud. The 19-inch racks, this is also why I personally never got one. I once had a T1000 as a loan unit from Sun Microsystems when they still existed, for 6 weeks or so. Unfortunately, they were too copy counting for me to keep it. That was Sun. For some reason, I didn't even document, but probably I started this hardware site before I documented here the CPU info. This is why, it's probably why it's not in there. Even this thing, it looks so innocent. It was freaking loud, which probably all the Sparc and 19-inch rack people can relate to. But yeah, freaking, it was so loud. I was a student at the time in 2005 or 6 or whenever, probably 2005, I guess. I was a student in my small student room. I had to put this into my wardrobe. I'm no kidding. Certainly heat-wise not ideal, but you could. It was a turbine, right? You can't sit in a room with this thing, unless maybe noise cancellation headsets. But yeah, 32 watt at 1.4 kilohertz for whatever. 20, maybe it was 32 threads actually. With this, was it 8 cores? Yeah, so this is 4 times hyper threading, like cool threads off. Yeah. So all these are cheap. So if you want to get this, they are cheap on eBay. And we need to rush a little bit over the last comments because I really need to go. I spent enough time on fixing broken stuff today. And to be honest, this is also, if this is not like ranting, this is just like showing, presenting the state of open source and how you spend your time if you work with this kind of stuff. And in my opinion, it is after 20 years, so not, there are two things. First of all, there is a factor, doing this for 20 years, you can't see the stuff anymore. It's like the next time I see broken configure scripts like that and injecting the hard coding stuff, I can really throw up in the meantime. And also, this in general is such a waste of time, this kind of integration or not integration and breaking stuff, which is, yeah. So some Sun stuff is rather expensive. Probably the workstation stuff easily goes for 600-800 unless you find it locally for super cheap on a garage sale. This stuff is cheaper probably because nobody wants to have this loud stuff, so you can find this for 80 bucks used on eBay. The larger ones for 200, like a T2000 something, or a 5000 whatever, for like 200 whatever. But the other ones are a little bit more expensive probably because the workstation is a little bit nicer form factor. And yeah. Foxel wants to move beyond PowerMax. Pay much more for the hardware either. Yeah, this is also crazy. So I would have, this is also the reason why I've never purchased another like Sunblade or whatever, or I was once considering the latest and greatest of those was a Sun Ultra 45. I already a couple of times nearly purchased one. In retrospect, you see they go for crazy money. Dual processor, 1.6 gigahertz. The price is crazy, obviously, for the performance. This is only there. You see my recurring also reminder not to overspend for vintage and vintage hardware, because obviously the stuff is as loud and energy consuming as it is not faster. It's the performance of a decade-old Opteron or dual-core apr-64 or something, and which is why the cheapest I found an Ultra 45 was like a decade ago for 600, and even at 600 a decade ago I was, of course, in retrospect, maybe I should have purchased it, but truth to be told, even for 600 10 years ago or today, it is not the best bang for the buck. And basically they go so high, maybe sometimes people really need it for medical equipment like X-ray machine or some stuff, or industrial production, whatever, replacement stuff. But otherwise, if you're just a hobbyist, it's a little bit wasted money, to be honest, at this price level. See you, Deterred. Thanks for tuning in. And Fox says he thinks the complaints are valid. PowerPC support is broken from time to time. Yeah, and it's even so. This patch here is obviously 6 years old, and for 6 years, I mean, yes, nobody supports this commercially and stuff, but nonetheless, people shouldn't randomly break it. And the patches certainly were long enough in all kinds of glibc versions there, and then people tell me I should send stuff more upstream. But also, yeah, don't touch what isn't broken, and that is also the little bit, especially in the Linux, is, of course, the difference is in the BSD ecosystems, they don't touch stuff as much. This is why maybe, or certainly NetBSD, OpenBSD are perceived as easier to work with, because APIs do not randomly change as much and stuff doesn't get as randomly broken because people just touch it less. And that is, of course, a lost art that is a little bit lost in the Linux scene, especially with all the high-profile, well-paid distribution people who just work on the latest and greatest and don't really care much about what was previously there. And this is why yeah, every month, we certainly, I did this a couple of times, also we have? How many? What day do we even have? Is this a new Linux kernel? I opened already a couple of times Linux kernel stuff, and this is a new one, only live here on this channel. And you see how often is stuff broken. I already sometimes in videos went here on over the videos and revert KVM, micro optimize, VM exit, guest crashes is like, yeah, I rest my case. I did this already a couple of times. I only need to open the latest bug-free releases, and I'm not saying that I write bug-free code and stuff, but I just freaking don't ever touch it so much. And if this would be my kernel, and when we continue our microkernel research, I will certainly write more test cases. Of course, Linux kernel nearly no test cases. Check log root access before locking, brings back optimizations that commit unnecessary checks remove, but in the different form, almost equivalent to revert. Otherwise, out of bounds. And what else do we have here? Null pointer dereference, certainly. Yeah, the usual stuff. Bcache adjust for bug null pointer dereference, and also somewhere AFS fix storage of cell names. But SCSI what another null difference in you get the idea. Net use after free because C programming in 2020. Recurring theme here. Microkernel, other languages, and yeah. Let's see what else. So that is really the last read, then I really go. IT Femi writes, if you know where to look, some hardware can be had for peanuts, never paid more than 50 for some machine. eBay prices, they don't reflect the real world. Yeah, you also sometimes have good local supplies. I heard from some people in the US that the local governmental auctions have super cheap stuff. What do you mean with palatable mob? What does it even mean? I'm not thinking ARM max will do much, honestly, but mostly because they are not using EFI and they do not support booting another. This is okay. Checking our English live on this channel. For the reason that it's not booting EFI, and they don't support booting other operating systems, so it's booting like an iPhone. And actually, when I tried to turn off secure boot, it didn't let me. It said something like you can't, like CSR-util -- disable. Said something along the lines of you can't disable while your Mac OS is in the secure configuration or something of that sort. I have not found out what that means, but even if it would let me disable secure boot, then we would need to have a bootloader Linux kernel, maybe from what was the name, Cornelion, the iPhone virtualization folks there. So in my opinion, ARM is already pretty nicely to use with Raspberry Pi and stuff. That would be what did I wanted to check. I wanted to check Mac or no, iPhone virtually. It is late, folks. Here, Corellium. They have some Android and stuff patches or something somewhere, and from this Android Linux something. Oh, what we need here, Corellium. But also, yeah, that is not whatever. Maybe they had some Linux Android patches somewhere. So yeah, that is certainly not the easiest to use. So I would say all the other Linux targeting like Pine64 and Raspberry Pi and BeagleBoard, everything is more easily and certainly cheaper and whatnot. And yeah, maybe not as high performance, but that is certainly coming to more generic hardware also. People buying on eBay, so ITT Femi says, people buying on eBay impulse. I wouldn't even, I agree mostly, although often it's not impulse, but people don't have other sources and they just buy, like when they say on YouTube, that is also the danger of vintage and retro videos, that people then want to have something and it's not as much as the impulse as thinking it's amazing from some YouTube video like ours and others and stuff, and then they just spend any money. And yeah. Fox will ask, what about kexec from GNU into Linux? Yeah, for that you need to break all security, and so you cannot, that's not that easy with a fully running operating system, and certainly that is not an easy achievement. You would need to stop the whole kernel, and it's super difficult to start to kexec another kernel from another kernel, especially if it's pretty secure and running everything sandbox without root. So it's probably easier to boot it similar to copying stuff, like reusing iPhone bootloader stuff. And yeah. Let's see. Yeah, ITT Family mentions that TechMoan and LGR, certainly I've noticed those, and 8-bit guy and stuff. And yeah, similar to what I meant. That is what I meant of getting inspired, not as much as impulse, but wanting to have it, but having no other source. And yeah, similar. Even in Germany, there are some like eBay, but they have the problem. Some lease return resellers in Germany, but even they have eBay prices. So even although certainly that is like much better in the US, even in Germany this stuff is expensive. So usually I want to go home, but DTARD returns. DTARD brought this Intenium system for like 200 euros. Shipping was probably twice that. Just like, yeah. Personally, I neither have the space nor want to run the electricity. Maybe I meet up with DTARD someday and have Intenium fun, or do it remotely. But yeah, this is also why I sometimes looked for Alpha and Intenium, but in retrospect, I should have brought something a decade ago when it was cheaper. Now the price is also crazy that for that I don't spend 600 euro for a mediocre DEC Alpha server or Intenium. So yeah, I guess that's really it for today. Bringing you the latest findings of what can be broken and is broken. Yeah, DTARD says has it on a rack. Yeah, problem is I don't have a rack, and there are already scanners and desktops and NAIR and anyway, also it's to if you have a recommendation, DTARD SEO return. I wanted to drop you an email already. If you have a recommendation for an this aircon thing, like what you recommended, this what was it? If you have some specific model, I googled some. I didn't find two, like Amazon or whatever stuff, like a vaporizing aircon stuff, whatever. If you have a good model there, that would be appreciated. Anyway, that's it for today. Another peek here of how frustrating it can be. We have very little stuff left. Fun fact: we can we find in build one last look at var adm logs of the usual size 0. So this is what we built. Hewlett Packard, just what I said. MIP64, PowerPC 6432, sparc64. So basically the stuff we are usually running here. Did we even? And so for the most part, the stuff Oh, this is also built, amazing. We mostly need to fix our mip64 kernel, and this stuff I'm ignoring right now. Python, Meson, Ninja. Theoretically we should cross build. This here, this risefs only filled on a, we can probably fix this. I just rebuilt this for some reason, and somehow the rebuild is failing if the file is already there, like mkfs risefs. I could theoretically fix it, but maybe for the I have so much stuff to fix and work on. Probably for now we call it a day, and YOLO that, and just uninstall it and rebuild it. I hope that should probably work. Let's see. All the other architectures, risefs procs build anyway, and I'm pretty sure it will build here as well. Yeah, of course it did. It was just like the files were there. Probably very theoretically as a proof of what fun errors could occur. Wouldn't, well, it should, yeah. So this fails of create symbolic link of, we can, yeah, this ln, it just needs, you know what, just for the fun of it, another stupid thing to fix that this doesn't fail. If fix file of make file in, apparently ln. Actually, you know what, we can, maybe we can, does it have an lns, so we don't even need to patch it. We can probably, with 20 years of experience, other people just, I also just fix it. 20 years I didn't make, 20 years I didn't make videos, now it's time for videos. We can probably YOLO that in terms of not patching it, but there is a fs-procs. Setting is this variable of install app, so that would be var append make inst opt. Let's just redefine. Usually this works of lns2 equals ln. Let's hope that works with spaces. So don't know. Do we still? Oh, yes, still. Because we need a space in the lns. We can also do it like that. Or whatever. No, it doesn't really matter much. But what did it run? It did run dash. Did we scroll this away? What was it? sparc64 IDM logs risefs. It totally doesn't matter. It's just that it did run just with dash s. Usually I use v for verbose, so that I have in the log what was installed, which in general is, I always like logs. Let's see. Austin says thanks for streaming. Yes, thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate to chat with you guys, and it's, of course, it's so funny that I repeat the insults to me, and people feel triggered. It's funny. Yeah, so we fixed this with that. Not sure why we've never done this. But 2020, let's fixed risefs to not fail on reinstall. So yeah, so many decades of work and still small little stuff you can fix, and you only happen once upon a time when the moon stands at the right location with the stars and whatnot. Okay, dtard recommends to build an evap stuff. He's building some unit now. Okay, do you have a link to your build thing? I was actually wondering if, but I scratched this to use this thermal element stuff, this Peltier elements, but I think I figured they are too inefficient, and that probably doesn't cool very much. That's it now for today. Detailed gave an Indigo R10 impact thing away or something. Was a nice machine. That's it now really for today. I really need to go. well overdue and well too long as usual when we document stuff here. Detailed was Indigo. I think someone from Rock Linux has run, was it a Challenger or something anyway. Detailed says don't use Peltier elements for cooling, they're very inefficient. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, if you have a link to some build instruction thing, step-by-step guide or whatever, or send a photo of your stuff, that would be amazing. That's it for now today. I have to go. Hope to see you soon for the next fun stuff. And you see our stuff gets increasingly very few issues to fix and new ISOs to